Hello, everyone. I'm welcomed today by UFC fighter Don Shainis. Just had a fight recently in Perth. Don, I wanted to ask you about your time in Australia. I know the fight necessarily didn't go your way, but I know you spent a couple weeks there after the fight, have a
Yeah.
little vacation. Tell me what you did and just what you got to see.
Let me start off with like Australia is unbelievable. Like the first thing I noticed in Australia was the air. I got off the plane. I'm like my first breath in Australia. I'm like, oh, this is what clean air smells like. But everything in Australia, from the food to the weather to the cleanliness to like everything was cheaper. I loved it out there.
Yeah, the weather must have been a complete switch because, you're up in New England. So, the weather from New England to Australia must have been a complete just difference, especially in February.
Oh, for sure. I was laughing my ass off. I think the day I got to Australia or like the day after, it was like minus 20 degrees in Boston. And I'm like in 100 degrees. I'm loving life. And everyone back home is like minus 20
Yep,
with a
making fun of
negative
them.
50 wind chill. And I'm like posting pictures outside, like laughing my ass off. Yeah.
No, definitely, definitely. It's great out there. All right, so tell me a little bit about that Shameless Nation and the support system you've had back at home. I mean, it's just crazy. I mean, it was your first and second pro fight that you just had like so many people there just in support of you.
Oh yeah, dude. My following's fucking insane. Like I'm waiting for a fight somewhere close to New England, hopefully in Boston
Yeah.
soon. Hopefully my next fight's in Boston. But
I saw you calling
I
for
don't,
one on Instagram.
oh, you saw that? Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
don't know what stars go to align for that to happen, but if it does, I want on it because I'm sick of being the bad guy. Like, everyone my last fight was rooting for Jack, and rightfully
Yeah.
so. He had all of Australia behind him, so anytime he breathed, the place erupted. And anytime I was in any position to do anything positive, no
It
one gave
was
a
just
fuck.
nope.
Yeah. So that fight, I was the bad guy, but you know it is what it is. I knew I was going in there, and the only way I was gonna win was finishing, and I
Mhm.
didn't get the job done. So fucking back to work we go.
Yeah. It's all right. I mean, you're not going to get the win in every fight. It's okay. You had an amazing performance regardless. I really thought you did have a great fight, but it's almost interesting because, now it's like, you want to go from the enemy to the hometown hero, and it's going to be a big switch up, but it's something you're used to because you usually do fight in your area. So it's just, it's a nice like, come back to your roots.
It would be nice to return to the roots, but
Yeah.
look, I honestly love traveling. Like anytime there's a fight out of the country, I'm down. Like anywhere that preferably speaks English and that is out of the country, I'm so down to go check out. Like I know the UFC is going to London. That would be dope. I used to live in London. Um, like anytime I don't know when the UFC is going to go to Ireland, but that would be dope too. So like I said, anytime to travel and see the world and do what I love, like how can you beat that?
Yeah, no, you can't. You can't. That's a great part about, being a fighter is that you get to go and travel in all these places and get to go explore the world while you do fight. So that is great. But you're constantly interacting with people on social media, whether it's fans or trolls, you're constantly posting the trolls,
Oh,
everything they say. Why do you think it's important though to be interacting with your fan base and just building that connection? Like even when you were talking to me on DM, you were sending me videos, you weren't even text responding me. You wanted to already build that connection. It's just
yeah.
cool.
So I don't mean to cut you off there. My bad.
No.
So my thing is like, how do I put this? Right. I'm trying to build a following. I want everyone to get a sense of who I am as a person. So if I could just be myself and make some fans and get a following that loves and supports me and build and grow from there, that there's no reason why I can't support myself through my following with or without fighting, if that makes sense.
No.
So essentially, I know that like most of my money is already tied up into camp and gone by the time I get it.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to create a new finger to put a new pot to grow an income source at.
No, definitely. It makes sense. I just always see. I mean, it's not just me. It was like just everyone. You're just always interacting with the fans and you're just really like you're just down to earth. You're just, you obviously you're just a very likable guy.
I
And
appreciate that.
it's funny that I see like all the people that like the trolls talking shit on social media. And it's like I don't know where they're getting so mad from. I know there's some of the Australians that were talking a lot of shit for Jack Jenkins fight and everything. But even after people were talking shit, and it was like, dude, like Like,
Okay, can I address that? Like,
yeah,
I
go
fucking
ahead.
love it. So first
Yeah.
and foremost, like, I made this highlight called Haterade, and I just like one day like just reading and resharing every fucking person that was like shitting on me. And I was laughing my ass off reading these. Like, I thought it was so fucking funny that people waste their time talking about me out of all
Right.
people. They're consuming, like, I'm taking real estate in their mind. Secondly, I don't fucking care. You know what I mean? Like, you can have your opinion. I don't care. I'm gonna wake up and do what I do tomorrow, anyways. And like the third thing that it did was my engagement across my platforms went through the fucking roof because people shitting on me were shitting on me. All right, cool. My engagement went up. But then my supporters were like, nah, fuck that guy. So
Yeah.
it fucking tied in my supporters to fucking like have my back, which is even cooler because my engagements went through the fucking roof. So like I hope that shit keeps happening. I'm gonna keep resharing it and keep laughing my ass off.
Yeah.
So it's like I don't take any of that shit personally. I don't fucking care. I find it entertaining.
The funniest ones to me, honestly, are the ones that will text you before the fight, like, "Oh, I can't wait," like da 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 da, and then after the fight, it's all "Screw you, you suck, you have no chin, this, that."
Yeah.
Like, really, man? Like, come on.
I've had some go the other way too. Like there's a couple guys I'm thinking of specifically like, fuck you, you lost me money. Like I bet my college fund. And then like I talked to them and then they're like, we're rooting for you our next fight. Like after being like, fuck you, you sucked, you got no chin. I'm like, what?
I,
you know?
it, it's that social media. That's some of these people. Really, they'll hide behind the screen and say really anything that they won't say.
Dude, it is fucking hilarious
Oh, it's
because
crazy. It's crazy.
oh oh dude, this was actually pretty funny. I'll even fucking drop his name. I don't even care.
Okay.
So obviously my last fight was against Jack Jenkins. Some dude named Jack started DMing me, and I at first I thought like he was cool, right? And this was before the fight even happened. He's like, then he said something along the lines of like, "You're gonna get knocked out by two Jacks, in the same week." And I'm like, "Well, can I fight this Jack first? Because I don't get paid for you." And then fast forward, then he's like, "I'll see you in Perth." I'm like, "All right, whatever." like cool. So I'm at the hotel and I hear like, "Yo, Don, yo, Don, yo, Don," and it's like maybe like Tuesday or Wednesday before the fight. So I think weigh-ins were like either Friday or Saturday because the fight was Sunday, and it was like midweek, during fight week, and some dude came up to me, he's like, "Hey, I'm that Jack," and I'm like, "Oh,
No
what's up,
shit.
man?" Like,
No
and like
shit.
I kind of, I didn't know what he looked like, but he's like, "I said I was gonna knock you out," and I'm like, "All right, cool." He's like, "Can we get a picture?" I'm like, "Yeah," repost it on Instagram.
It's
So I took a
hysterical.
selfie with him and reshared it. It was
Oh,
fucking
that is,
hilarious.
dude, that is hysterical. Come on. I guess it goes both ways then. I guess people will talk shit and then be just to mess around and then be friendly. I
Yeah,
don't know. That is
yeah.
really
It was funny too because he actually spoke to my opponent, and me and my opponent spoke afterwards about this fucking guy, and my opponent was like, "Yeah, he told me he was gonna fuck you up," and like he was telling me he was like thinking like, that guy's like fights in the UFC, right? Like he's just not gonna like
it's not
what?
gonna happen, but yeah.
Yeah, but like me and my opponent after the fight were joking about that fucking guy. Like
Hysterical.
what?
That is hysterical. That's how you know you made your impact, huh? As a fan, huh? So you
Well,
were
I'm
talking
just getting
about.
started. I'm just getting started. I'm just figuring out Instagram. I just figured out Twitter recently, so
I saw.
I've
I
been
saw.
I've been tweeting a little bit.
Yeah, no, I follow you on there. I saw that you just recently started that one up. But so for 10 years you said you were going to fight in the UFC before you ended up actually fighting in the UFC. How old
Probably
were you?
longer, man.
So
Probably
how
longer.
how old were you when you realized that fighting was what you wanted to do with your life? And what do you think you'd be doing if you weren't fighting right now?
All right, great question. So I think I was like 19. I watched Uriah Faber and Mike Brown fight in my basement, and I got into an argument with my best friend James, and he was like 220, 230 at the time because we both played football in high school, and we we're like in between that like high school, college, like college. He went to the Navy, but I was in that college phase. So um, he was trying to convince me that he would beat Uriah Faber in a fight. He's like, "Dude, there's no way. He's 135 pounds. I'm 230. Like, I outweigh him, but I'm like, nah, dude, he'd fuck you up." So
Okay.
we got into a big argument about that. And then I'm like, you know what? I can fucking do this. And then, I took my first amateur fight at 19. And then I took a year and a half off. I was doing college, all that bullshit. and then I took a second amateur fight, and then like I was really fucking up, so I chose to get a little bit more into MMA like another year later. So when I was like 23, 24, I was like, fuck college. This is what I'm doing.
Mhm.
So like 2014, I ended up cornering a local kid in the UFC in Colorado. And I'm like, yo, I could do everything he's doing. And not only can I do that, I could do it better than what he's doing. I saw all the mistakes that he made and how, you know, and like how he treated him. Like, dude, I could just care more and be better, and I see him competing at the highest level. Like, there's no reason why I can't. And that's kind of where the light bulb went off. Like, yo, this is what I'm going to do for the predominant like majority of my life.
Yeah, yeah. So what do you think you'd be doing right now if you weren't fighting?
Oh fuck, nothing good. Nothing good.
Would
Like
you say
literally
would you say
nothing.
fighting got you on the right track in life? Like it straightened you out in a sense and got you on the right track? Because you talked about how you fucked up in the past and whatever. Everyone has, it's all right. But would you say fighting's what straightened you out?
I'll put it like this: I have a super addictive personality,
Okay.
right? And like I can't just quit an addiction. I
Mhm.
have to transfer my addiction. So I've just refocused
Transfer the
all my
addiction.
energy
Yeah.
into this. So it's like I used to party and drink and bullshit all the time. And then it's like I used to do really, really reckless shit when I would drink. And like I realized that I couldn't live that life and live this life at the same time. So I gave up drinking
Yep.
and I just got more dialed into that. So it's like the more I focused on this, like the more I obsessed about it and the more I worked at it, like the less I wanted to do any of that other stuff too.
Good. Good. I love to hear that. I love to hear that you really just focused on your priorities and got where you wanted to be in life. It's great to see.
Well, you just can't do both. Like there's
Yeah,
guys
no.
that can, and it blows my mind. I'm like, dude, imagine how much better you would be if you just didn't do stuff that was bad for you. And then
Ask John Jones.
like, dude, he's the greatest of all time. He can do
Yeah,
whatever the fuck he wants. Like,
whatever you want. That's
like why would I ever give John Jones advice? If anything, you should be giving me advice. If he said go on party, like maybe I should try it. No, I'm just kidding. But obviously I'm joking there. But yeah, man, fucking, it really did straighten me out a lot.
Good, good. So you've been able to bounce back from your losses very emphatically in the past. You had a
Mhm.
10-second knockout previously after one of your losses, a 43-second submission win after your first career fight, first career loss. So
Yeah.
just tell me about how you plan to bounce back from these losses here and how your mindset, like how you mentally battle those losses and are able to overcome them.
So like here's the thing that I don't do. I don't make excuses, right? Like, all right, my pro debut, I get cut. I truly believe all my preparation has put me in a situation to win that fight. It didn't happen. It is what it is. Guess what? I got cut. It was 100% my fault. I probably didn't rehydrate properly. You know, that's my fault.
Okay.
What am I gonna do from here? I'm gonna fucking address the issues that I had to move forward. And it's been this fucking move forward attitude throughout my whole career. Any loss I've ever taken, you gotta remember, like, if you're not losing, you're not growing, like you're gonna come up short in life. That's just life. So you got to remember that nothing fucking matters and just fucking move forward, and not let anything get to your head, not think you're too big, think you're the man, or think you suck either. So it's like you gotta give yourself a realistic evaluation, find one, two, three things to work on, focus on those three things, set a realistic goal, and move forward. That's pretty solid.
Yeah, no, it's a great way to
Uh,
think about it. It's a great way to think about it, seriously. You had a 2-0 stint in Bellator, but you ended up going back to Cage Titans after and proceeded to win a title there and then a title in FAC. Tell me
mhm.
about your stint in Bellator and why you didn't stay. I don't know if, you were released or what the situation was, but just talk to me about that.
No, so I went 0-1, then I rifled off a couple wins for Bellator, and I don't exactly know what happened. I wasn't represented by management at the time. It was just me and my head coach, and I didn't feel like they were valuing me for my worth, and I feel like they gave me really bad fights for way worse money,
Okay.
and then I just didn't think they wanted or they saw value in me. So I'm like, Why would I continue to fight for you if you don't value me and you're giving me terrible matchups for terrible pay? Like I know, for example, like I'm not going to drop any names, but I got offered terrible money, show and win money
Okay.
to fight one of their higher up guys, which I love the fight. You know, I would love that fight. I'd love that challenge. But I know the next guy that fought him made like an extra 10 grand on what they offered me. It's like when we're talking that little money, um, I just didn't see the value in, and I wanted to build my brand a little bit more. I wanted to I just wanted to grow, and with Cage Shines, it was quick and easy, and I have a crazy following, which I grew so much there and in New England. But I felt like with Bellator, it was just kind of a one sided win. You know, it wasn't win win
Okay. No, that definitely
at
makes
that
sense.
time. You know, maybe things change in the future, and but right now I'm not focused on that. My focus is what's next, and that's the UFC.
No, I mean, I can understand, you know, your value, and if you weren't making that, I can understand why you wouldn't have taken,
Mhm.
a huge risk on such short pay, because then you risk taking a huge loss and dropping your stock tremendously for what? For not much. So I completely
Well,
understand.
Well, how many world killers do you meet that just take bad fights all the time, and not bad fights that are unwinnable, but like too early in their career? You know, it's like it's just crazy
Yeah.
to me
I
how
mean,
like mismanaging yourself can lead you to lack of success.
when you were in Bellator, it was your second and third pro fight. So it's not
Mhm.
like, it's not like you should have been fighting anyone that was up there in the promotion. You should have been being built properly. So it doesn't make sense.
Well, at that time too, like I don't think they wanted to grow with me. I don't think they saw the value that held for myself, and that's fine. You know.
Well, you ended up growing and you ended up proving your value. So we love to see that. So do you plan on staying at featherweight in the UFC, or do you plan on moving up to lightweight? Because I know you bounced back and forth. You were not a double champion, but you had belts in two different weight classes and two different promotions. It was a slightly odd situation, but you were the featherweight champion in Cage Titans and then the lightweight champion in FAC. So just do you plan on changing weight classes in the UFC, or are you sticking to one?
Hell fucking no, man. Dude, those 155ers are huge. You shitting me? Dude, the whole reason I fight at featherweight is because those guys are so fucking big.
Okay.
Um, here's the thing, like realistically speaking, the heaviest I get is 170, 175. If I'm being fat, in shape of fat, like if I get really fat, if I'm injured, I get fucking bigger than that. But
Well,
you,
yeah.
you got to remember it. For me, I'm so short. It's not so much a skill or strength thing. It's a frame thing.
Okay.
So these guys are so much bigger than me. It feels like I'm almost fighting like a linebacker in the NFL. You see what I'm saying? Like, which there's a reason why there's weight classes, and I just feel like my frame is far too small for lightweight. There's a big gap there in that 10 pounds.
No, it definitely makes sense. Like a guy like Jalen Turner is absolutely even for lightweight, he's absolutely
Dude,
massive, but he's just a
did you
massive
see him fight
man.
last week?
So
He fought fucking Gamrot.
Gamrot.
That guy is big as fuck. You shitting me? Like, those 55ers can stay that big. Fuck them. I'm gonna stay at 45.
So I wanted to actually ask you your recap on 285. So Jalen Turner and Gamrot, obviously that fight was crazy. Did you think that Gamrot pulled that one out, or
Yeah, I think Gamrot won 2 and 3. I think Turner won the first one. Gamrot's grappling is just fucking unreal.
every time he needed to
He's
get him
so
down, he did?
dude. I feel like not that he was outclassed on the feet. I just feel like Turner was so far out of his range with that length that if he didn't take him down the way he did and was as relentless as he was, that fight very well could have been the other way.
Right.
And Turner's super fucking long and dangerous and like, but dude, Gamrot's so fucking resilient. Like watching that fight, that was one of my favorite fights on the card, to be honest with you, because dude, I saw Turner stuff one of Gamrot's shots, and Gamrot was just like, no, fuck you, and didn't even reshoot, just like hit a friction point and like exploded through it. I'm like, what am I watching right now? This is fucking awesome,
High level grappling. Yeah. It's
dude. It
makes it even
I,
crazier to think that Dariush completely shut that down.
well, here's the thing. Like, I don't even think it's high level grappling. I think it's just high level mindset. right? Because
Yeah.
well, you didn't see him doing anything like fucking spinning, extravagant, anything crazy.
No.
I think that's just straight up mindset,
Okay.
you
Okay.
know? So it's
Yeah, he
like,
does. He does have a good mindset.
and all fucking high level shit is just perfecting your fundamentals anyway. So I think that that's a straight up mindset. Like, no, you're going to the fucking ground. No, oh, and you're not. Fuck you. You know,
Okay.
that's kind of how I chalk that up, which was awesome to watch. You shitting
Yeah.
me,
No, it was great. What did you think of Jeff Neal and Shavkat?
dude?
I
That was nuts.
nuts.
Um, Jeff Neal looked pretty for a guy that missed weight. He looked pretty damn good.
In
You
shape.
know,
He was
like
in shape.
like yeah, he was in shape. I don't know what went on behind the scenes about him missing weight or whatever that whole scenario. No one just misses weight like that.
He's missed.
If you,
He's had injury history in the past. People are saying he might have
yeah,
had problems with that, and like
yeah, look, dude, like there's probably something that happened, but he's a fucking dog,
no, he
and his boxing looked really good.
oh
And
for,
then Shavkat, did I say that right?
yeah.
He looked fucking unbelievable. Usually you tend to see guys fade really big, whether they miss weight, whether they took the fight on short notice and weren't in fight shape, or they fucked up their timing, or whatever the fuck it is. It doesn't matter. Like usually you see guys that miss weight fade because either they're cutting too much weight or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
He looked fucking good for 3 rounds up until he got choked. He looked fucking good. And then Shavkat, holy fuck, that guy's a scary man.
Yeah, he's
What
scary.
what weight is that? 70?
Yeah,
That's
once
70, right?
yeah, yeah.
Oh, dude, that's fucking scary because Bo Nickel's not 70. He's 85. He's an
Yeah,
85er.
he is.
But then you got Hamza fucking right in between Bo Nickel and oh man, there's
Mhm.
just so
It's
many
getting
things that can
so fun. It's
happen.
getting so fun up there. Yep, I know. It's getting scary.
Sounds terrifying.
It is. It is.
Sounds
But
terrifying.
oh, it's great as a fan. So I actually wanted to talk to you about, you're always tweeting out during the fights and everything. How big of a fan are you into the mixed martial arts and everything?
All right, so this is something that I've started doing fairly recently. Um, I realized like in order to build my audience, I got to be posting stuff, and not so much like posting stuff like to build my audience. I got to know who my audience is, right? It's guys 24 to fucking 35 that like fighting.
Yeah.
That's the majority of my audience. Obviously, there's some chicks in there. The age demographic varies, but majority of my audience, probably like 40% of my audience is in that demographic.
Yeah.
Now, what are they doing? They're posting about the fight, right? They're posting what they just saw.
Hmm.
They might say something funny. Well, why aren't I doing that? You
Yeah.
know, first and foremost, I need to be watching the fights to know who's relevant in what weight classes. I need to see what the people at the highest level are doing from a fundamental and learning standpoint, and also from a aspect of like, oh, I've never seen that before. Oh, he's doing a really good job of moving his head. Oh, he's pivoting well. Little shit like that. Like, I'm not just watching fights. Like, I'm invested in these things now.
Okay.
So before I moved out to the Midwest, probably like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, I started really watching the fights, like because I had all these teammates fighting every other week. But before that, I didn't watch any fights, and my mindset was like, nah, I'm gonna do what the fuck I do. What they do doesn't matter. Like, I don't care what they do. I'm just gonna focus on me and get better. But I've also realized, like, when I switched gyms, um, oh shit, like there's a gap there. Like, what are they doing differently? One thing they were doing differently was they were watching film, and they were studying not only their opponents, but like the guys at the highest level, like Khabib's, the fucking um the studying Khabib's, the
The highest levels.
GSPs, the
Yeah.
fucking greats, and then they're also staying relevant, not so much in outside the weight class, but in their weight class. They might not know every guy in the division, but they know who's good in the top 10, 15. So it's like, why aren't I doing that? Like these are effortless things that I could be investing in that will potentially get me better at a sport.
Pay
So,
off.
huh?
They could pay off in the future. They
Of
really, yeah,
course.
yeah.
And why not engage with fans on social media that are also engaging on that post?
Mhm.
You know, it's like, why not maximize all three at the same fucking time?
Oh, it makes sense. It makes sense. It's
That's
just
exactly why I'm doing it, to be honest with
okay.
you.
So just part of that building your brand kind of thing. Just just be.
Oh, building my brand and mental reps and development and
Oh
that
yeah.
shit. But yeah,
Yeah. Okay. So recently you had 6 fights in a 12-month span, which is just
did
honestly,
I?
yes, yes. I applaud you by the way for that. Do you? So it's near impossible to keep up that kind of activity in the UFC. But do you plan on staying like very active in the UFC?
Bro, I like. Here's the thing, right? Like, I was so hungry to get in the UFC,
Mhm.
right? And I knew I was coming upon the age of where you kind of age yourself out a little bit, and I was approaching that age. If I was older and I didn't take a fight short notice, I wouldn't get in. And I understand there's a shelf life on your career, and I needed to do everything that I could. And at that time, I was fucking healthy, and it was like back to back to back fights. I think I had 4 fights in 4 months. That was like the coolest thing I did.
Yes, you did.
Um, and then like I was ready to take another fight, and they're like, "No, wait." And I'm like ready to take another fight, and like, "No, wait." And then I get hurt, so then I got to take a month off. And for like 7, 8 months, I was like ready to fight in the UFC. Like my weight was good and all that. And then I finally get the call, but I just took a month off. I hurt my shoulder. And then like 2 days back into training, I get the call. And I'm like, and to me, it's like you either take this fight or you'll never fight in the
Yep.
UFC. So it's like, fuck it. I don't care who it's against. Turns out I fight Sadiq Youssef, who's top 10, 15 in the world.
Yeah.
And I had a terrible weight cut and still no excuse, still my fault. But I would just wasn't set up for success. And I think my performance showed that. But, I'm not hanging my head upon it. That's my fault. Back to what I was saying earlier. That shit's my fault. What can you do about an injury? You could either let it heal or you could keep working through it. I chose to let it heal. So that still got my foot in the door. So then I have a fucking barn burner with Jack Jenkins. I think that was fight of the night up until the main event of the Volk Islam card. So
Yeah.
dude, as long as I like right now, it's just about staying healthy, keeping light, and being ready for an opportunity. But as hungry as I was to get in the UFC, I'm fucking 0-2. I'm fucking just as hungry to win in the UFC. So, dude, there's something about you know this company. If you're willing to fight anyone, anywhere, anytime,
They love you.
like to me, that means you're a gangster.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's too many fucking gangsters left in this sport. And I think I'm the last of the dying breed because I proved that I will go anywhere. I will fight anyone and I will fucking make weight. Like for example, anyone, anywhere. Sadiq Youssef, 2 weeks, 40 pounds. Did it.
Yeah.
Jack Jenkins. I don't think I could have flown any further away from my home. I don't think I could go any further away from my home to fight the hometown guy or the Australian native in Australia. Like that's anywhere. I just checked off all those boxes in my first 2 fights. So, like I said, I'm 0-2, but I'm just as fucking hungry to as I was to get in to get a fucking win. And I would love for that to be at home in Boston. I don't know if that'll happen, but we'll see.
Are there any names? I know you said previously you have the UFC hit list, and I know you have a couple names
Oh,
that you have in the head that you're ready. But is there anyone specific you might be looking at for this next fight? Or
I don't know, man. Like, let's say there's a Boston card. I think a really exciting fight. Like, what would be to me bigger than fucking Boston Strong Charles Rosa? In
ooh,
Boston at the TD
okay,
Garden, that would be
okay.
fucking great, dude. The place would be fucking electric.
That's a good one.
Um, dude, like, man, for me, I think that'd be a great fight for me. And no disrespect, but like, that fight would be fucking bananas.
Mhm.
Um, I think a Darren Elkins fight. The guy's called the damage for a reason. I love watching him fight because his fights are fucking crazy.
It's like a
Crazy.
zombie.
The guy's so durable
Yeah.
and exciting, and it's like, and he's tough.
Mhm.
Like, dude, what's more exciting than that? So, or like one of these guys coming off the Contender Series or making their UFC debut. Fuck it, throw me in the mix.
Okay. All right. Well, I think that's it for today. I appreciate the time, Don, and I thank you for coming on and talking to me. It was great having you.
Hey, man, you're the man. You keep doing what you're doing. You're fucking 19. You wait 10 years, you might be doing this full time.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. All right. Have a good one.